Welcome to our weekly reading where we explore all things astrological. We hope you're doing really well and staying safe out there. From our two different points of view in two different locations in the world, we bring to you a unique astrological perspective on what is happening right now across the globe. So here we go. Hi everybody, this is Diana in LA and Cary in the UK for another episode of Astrocast. And finally, we have some good news. It's been week after week of trouble and strife, growing pains, changes, and this week we get a little window of an exhale where we can move a little bit more freely, have some relief, get a little bit of maybe even fun, happiness. It's short, but we need it. It's been such a long time of this relentless sort of bombing of difficulties and challenges week after week after week. And this week promises to be a little bit more joyful and interesting and possibilities and hope. Now, of course, there's still these transits in the sky that are these difficult, challenging transits. However, there's a little bit of silver lining to it this week, and you may feel a sense of meaning and purpose in a way that you haven't for a while. So that's where I'm going to begin. Cary, what are you seeing from where you are in London?
Well, I'm seeing this, the stellium hasn't gone away, but this is a week of trines, which is a very good thing. And you've got the sun trining the stellium, trining Uranus, which means unexpected good news, unexpected things coming out the blue. Anybody who's born between the 7th and 13th of September, January and May, all the earth signs will definitely feel this grand trine this week and expect something unexpected, because it's going to be quite an eventful week.
Isn't that wonderful that we get to sort of look forward to something? And boy, is this ever true when it's Uranus. Whenever Uranus is in the picture and a grand trine on top of it, something unexpected is bound to be. And so you can look around in your life this week and see, maybe someone calls you out of the blue. Maybe you feel inspired to begin a project that you have been feeling flat about for a while. This is a time of really moving forward. Plus, Venus is going into Leo, and that is going to also bring this bigger, braver heart, where we get our courage back, where we don't feel discouraged as much. We might feel a little bit more hopeful. Venus is the planet of love, and it is about relationship and beauty and what is good and true. And it's in Leo, so it's beautifully guiding and leading, right? And brave. And so I wonder how that's going to show up in your life this week. Look for it. And really, this will be for some time now, Venus being in Leo as it transits through. And it will spark your chart in the fire signs by trine and in different ways. As you look at your chart, where Venus is touching down is going to affect your week specifically. So if you know where Leo is in your chart, you can get a sense like which house it's in. It'll give you a sense of maybe what the subject is.
Leo is ruled by the sun, so it's very dependent on what the sun's position is. And the sun being in a grand trine will reinforce the Venus in Leo. So it's a very important time for people, well, especially in the beginning of Leo, beginning of Aries, beginning of Sag, because they'll also feel a difference. I mean, this is quite an interesting week all round for all the star signs, because everyone's going to be affected. Even if it's just your sun, at the particular degree, you will feel the benefit of this transit. The grand trine is one of the best things that can happen in a chart. And with what's happening at the moment with all this stellium in Earth, having a grand trine in Earth is spectacular. So anybody who's got their birthday today or tomorrow will be having quite an eventful year ahead.
And also, I wanted to just mention all the retrograde planets. There's 6 of them right now, going backwards, including Mars. Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus are all going backwards. And so this is still the undercurrent, right, of things being reviewed, life being reviewed under the subjects of every single one of those planets, like Mars taking action. Well, when it's retrograde, you kind of don't take action, or you're thwarted in taking action, or things you're trying to take action, but it's not, you can't follow through for some reason. So we've got 6 planets retrograde, and that actually has been going on for some time, but now also Mars is part of that mix.
That's right. So over the next few weeks, it will get nearer and nearer to squaring the stellium, making it quite challenging. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. It is going to be very challenging, as we said, every week till October, and there'll be rays of sunshine coming in the form of grand trines, sextiles, which is half a trine. All those aspects will be coming up on a regular basis to make life a little bit easier. So for this week, as an example, there could be some very good news on the health front. There could be some very good news on the political front. There could be unexpected events highlighting something that's been hidden, for example. And it could manifest itself in many ways. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens this week in the news, because this grand trine is happening all week.
And Mars doesn't go direct again till the middle of November, after the election. And so many things are kind of coming towards that election date as we get nearer and nearer, which we're going to look at more as we get closer to it, what's actually happening around November 3rd for the United States presidency. This will be a very, very intense and different election than we've ever seen.
But what will also be interesting is what happens in October, because Saturn starts going direct in October, and that will have a very big effect on the election in the United States.
Mercury will be retrograde right before the election, going direct on November 3rd. So that's going to throw a wrench in the works in terms of the ballot counting or something. There's going to be some Mercury retrograde action at the election day.
The most important thing about what's happening at this moment in time is this stellium, which hasn't been replicated since the birth of Babylon, indicates how important this time is.
And from an esoteric perspective, we've been studying and knowing this for eons, that 2020 was the beginning of a new push for humanity to grow. And so often it comes through growing pains, but it is a growth of a shift of awareness in that same way as the Babylonian civilization that lasted all those hundreds of years. We are going to be going into a new way of thinking. And to me, that's very hopeful. It isn't necessarily going to go in the way it seems to be going. It's a battle right now of what our next step is collectively. So it's kind of a thrilling time to be alive in this era where we get to be part of the determination of what actually occurs next. Do we become more psychic? Do we become more humanitarian? Do we become kinder? Do we become more philosophical? Do we make a better world? And that's my view of this, is we are trying to create a new and better world. So this week promises to bring a little bit of good news, a little bit of relief. Thursday's really the only day where there's strong tension again.
On Thursday, there's a T-square between the Sun, the Moon and Neptune at the same time that Mars goes retrograde. So you've got that you can feel that grand trine all the way through the week, which lightens things, but on Thursday, things suddenly change. So it'll be very interesting to see what kind of news comes out on Thursday.
Because when Mars is going retrograde on the same day as the T-square, Sun opposed Neptune, squaring the Moon, how we feel, that is going to flip everything that's been preceding it. So as this week goes a little bit in a more comfortable way, by Thursday, reality hits again.
That's the way it's going to be for the next few months. And it's going to be alleviated by some of the nicer aspects that happen, but it doesn't take away the gravity of the astrological situation right now.
And on that note, we'll leave you with some better news and a little bit of a breather this week from the intensity that's been going on. And we'll see you next week with another episode of our Astrocast with Diana in LA and Cary in the UK. Have a great week.
Have a great week, everybody.